Yes, please come.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning,
Sirs.
Annapurna. Please sit down.
Thank you, sir.
So, Annapurna, let's begin with your introduction.
Sir. Good morning, sir. My name is Annapurna Singh. I come from Patna, Bihar. I have completed my graduation in Electronics and Communication Engineering from Bangalore. So, my hobbies include Madhubani painting, particularly the Bharni and Kachni forms. And so, I have a work experience of 3 years in Intel as a semiconductor verification engineer, sir.
So, Annapurna, let's begin with your experience in semiconductor space. Today, the Honorable Prime Minister, while addressing the startup some conference, he has mentioned about 3 missions in India. What are those 3 missions?
So first would be the India Semiconductor mission, and the one that is given a corpus of 76,000 crores. So the second one was, I believe, the AI mission that India is pushing for with 10,732 in the funding. And this third one is the Digital India mission, which incorporates the Startup India mission as well. So I believe these are the 3.
Is it National Quantum Mission?
Yes, sir. So it is. It also incorporated in the Digital India.
So
mission,
let's
sir.
dwell on semiconductor mission. So he says that India will also become a hub for semiconductor some days ago. Now, what are the efforts that the country is making in this direction? Today, we are so much dependent on the entire world.
So we have given a very major push towards the entire semiconductor ecosystem, starting from design, where we have brought in the chip in a ecosystem where the companies would be also pioneering the design engineers. Second is the OSAT and assembly. We have setups coming up in Assam, Moregaon and Sanad, Gujarat, with the partnership of Tata and companies like PSMC, Thailand, Renaissance Institute, etc. And so lastly, in terms of the fabrication, which is very essential, Tata is coming up with a factory in Dholera, Gujarat, which is again the first time that has happened in the history of our country. So, sir, these are the major steps that we are taking.
Annapurna, you have done geography.
Sir.
Tell me, how is India's geography helpful in defending India against Pakistan on one side and China on the other?
So, the role of geography, particularly in defense, first against Pakistan, is because we have rivers like the upper reaches of Indus drainage basin system, as well as the Pamir Nodes in the top. They are also geographically aligned in such a manner that they provide a natural barrier between India and Pakistan. Additionally, sir, there are problems also associated with geography, which are human geography in terms of the defense forces that we deploy on the border are taken care of. In terms of China, sir, Himalayas act as a ready-made boundaries with Nepal as a buffer state, again a geographical defense. And additionally, sir, the Brahmaputras in the eastern end also provide a geographical benefit to India in terms of the volume of the water that we have, sir. So in terms of defense.
India's peninsula, does it offer more vulnerability or is a means of defense?
Sir, I would go with the latter. We do have vulnerabilities, and that is the reason why we had the major 26/11 attacks as well. And again, sir, in terms of the disasters that the climate change is making the Indian peninsula vulnerable, that are also a case in point. However, sir, our prospects, I believe, are better than our problems. And with the Indian Navy doing an exceptional job, not just in protecting the Indian peninsula, but the Indian Ocean as a whole, as we see in the Red Sea crisis as well, sir, is doing a commendable job there. And the blue economy also adds a lot of prospects in economic terms too, sir.
Annapurna, you are from Bihar.
Sir.
Now, Bihar, it is said that in the initial years, Bihar spent more efforts for social justice.
Sir.
Now they are very active on economic justice.
Sir.
But prohibition in Bihar may have induced more social reforms. But at the time when Bihar is looking for more and more investments,
Sir.
do you think prohibition will be an inhibitor rather than a catalyst?
Certainly, sir. The problem with prohibition is that the implementation aspect of it has not taken an upturn while the policy was intended in a good manner. In aspects of it being an inhibitor, sir, I do not believe that it would be a direct correlation. Sir, that prohibition on alcohol are necessary in the hospitality sector. But sir, Bihar has a lot of prospects that we can develop where we can increase the investments. And prohibition cannot play a bargaining role.
I'll give you an example on Pune of Gift City, Surat, where not Gift City, Gandhinagar, where government has, in that particular ecosystem of Gift City, they have removed the prohibition clause. Would you like a similar thing to be done in Bihar, wherever the investments come?
Yes, sir, I agree to that. We can look for such prospects, and that would be a better manner in regulating rather than completely prohibiting, so that the prospects of the state are wide open.
Thank you, Annapurna.
Thank you,
pass on to our member.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. So, good morning, Annapurna.
Good morning, sir.
So, you were having quite a decent career in Intel. So, what prompted you towards civil services?
So, while my learnings and experiences in Intel are very cherished, however, sir, I believe that in civil services, I get an intersection of my skill set, of my values and my intentions to contribute towards the policy implementation and policy advisory at a later stage. So secondly, I also believe that I would derive a great personal intellectual satisfaction if I am able to service in this job where so much possibilities and experiences are there to explore.
So, Annapurna, you are an electronics and communication engineer, right? So, let's say you are posted as a DM in any of the districts in Bihar or anywhere else. So, how would you use artificial intelligence or your background of electronics and communication to improve the various sectors in your district?
So, my first step would be to identify the areas which would be beneficial for the area, the district I am posted in. And for that, sir, I would use risk profiling and management of the data using artificial intelligence itself, as is being done in the Chanpatia model in Bihar's Madhubani and West Champaran area too, sir. So, secondly, for using artificial intelligence in several sectors like education, like health, or in fact, so using it for local languages like the Bhashani, it is being utilized in India's DPI. And so thirdly, the electronics and communication backgrounds in providing connectivity. So we have read that ISRO is helping out the tribal ministry with setting up VSATs to provide connectivity and communication in far-flung areas. I would try to incorporate that as well, along with deployment of CSE centers and definitely, sir, bringing greater outreach and internet connectivity in the rural areas.
Talking about the telecom industry, do you think it is heading towards a duopoly or a three-player industry?
Yes, sir. So the lack of competition in the telecom sector is certainly a matter of concern, and because of that, a duopoly or the three-polar, as you said, sir, is emerging. However, sir, the government and the body like TRAI are taking necessary reforms, and I believe that this won't be the continued progress in this sector, sir.
Okay. So what are the reforms that are being undertaken?
So first is that we are opening up the TRAI for a lot of other players as well to increase the competition. Telecommunication Act 2024 is a case in point in this regard. Additionally, sir, for the spectrum usage, specifically in terms of the satellite spectrums, we have shifted from auction to administration, and that would also be beneficial for new players like the companies like OneWeb is coming and the SpaceX also for providing satellite communication. So this is also going to provide the consumers with a lot of options too, sir.
Now, coming to your subject of geography. So, tell me, how will you use your knowledge of geography to solve the social problems in your district as a DM?
So, can I take a couple of
Yes.
seconds? Thank you, sir. So, particularly to solve the social problems with the use of geography, my first step would be to ensure the connectivity and accessibility of social facilities like the NHM or the Poshan Abhiyan or several accessibility factors that the government provides for the people. In that aspect, inclusion of village panchayat organizations and setting up common service centers in the inaccessible areas would be my first priority. So second, we see that disasters are a direct burn for the socially vulnerable sections. And my priority would be to do a hydrogenation mapping and understand on how resource could be better diverted and utilized for that, sir.
Now, you have got some award for Model United Nations project, right?
Sir.
So, tell me relevance of UN in present times.
So while there have been contentions on UN's feasibility, particularly in the backdrop of the ongoing wars, but sir, there is relevance of UNSC and UN in general. First, sir, we saw that even the Black Sea Grain Initiative was started by UN and several relief operations are conducted. So second, UN provides a table for the global parties to have talks and deliberations, which shows that reformed UN is very much better than no UN at all. Thirdly, sir, the UN peacekeeping forces are doing a commendable job and they should be appreciated for that. And sir, lastly, I believe that UN General Assembly with reforms in UNSC would provide greater prospects and its relevance cannot be negated in that aspect.
My last question, Annapurna, before I pass on. You are from Bihar. So, why most of the candidates, youngsters from Bihar, are so passionate about government jobs?
So while that is a trend, but so one of the reasons behind this can be that there is inaccessibility to other prospects. Private sector has not flourished well in Bihar, and because of that, government sector becomes an easy choice. So second is the people of Bihar, sir. They are very hardworking, and government jobs seem to be very competitive. And the people of Bihar and the students in general are seeing that they would be able to compete and come out with flaring colors. And lastly, sir, and the most important, government job offers the people to increase their social capillarity because they see how government job people are doing a wonderful job and they also can be a part of that machinery, sir.
Does dowry have something to do with it?
So there have been certain cases, but I do not see that it is a rule, sir. It is just an exception.
Okay, so thank you, Annapurna.
Thank you, sir.
Annapurna, you were just telling that the private sector is not flourishing in Bihar. So what are the reasons and what can be done so that the private players also come to Bihar?
So first reason is that the investment in Bihar, particularly in infrastructure or in civic community, is very minimal. Government budget also shows that only 30,000 crores is being implemented as capital investment. So that acts as a roadblock. So second is a lot of clustering and economies of scale is not available. And because of that, private investment and private sectors do not come in. And third is a trust and a perception that Bihar has. And the private sector in that aspect do not want to come and establish here. So to answer the second part, then in what we can do.
Yeah.
So first is, and what the government is also trying to push for, is we have to play on our strengths, sir. There are a lot of possibilities that Bihar can provide, particularly private sector in tourism, in food processing, in textile, and also the startup in IT. So we have to push for those. So second is the migrant population. We have to tap on that, sir. We have a lot of skilled population across sectors, like high skill, low skill, and medium skill. So we have to create a database and also try to provide prospects there. If government opportunities are available, private would also come as a participant and a player.
Good. Annapurna, I think 1 or 2 days back, this annual World Air Quality Report has come. Are you aware of it?
Yes, sir.
So in that report, we see that a number of towns in Bihar, they are also included. In fact, the Begusarai has been ranked as one of the most polluted. But Bihar, as you rightly said, there is no much industry, not much vehicular pollution also.
Yes.
So how they are so much polluted?
Yes, sir. The IQ Air report by the Swiss organization cited that Begusarai is top and 83 towns in India are part of that list.
Yeah.
So the reason why Bihar is flaring up in this list, so one is owing to the geography. The alluvium, the soft alluvium present, contributes to the PM 2.5 and PM 10, These are the constituents of that list.
Good.
Additionally, sir, it has been cited that sand mining and unregulated sand mining has also contributed for the same.
Yeah. And Annapurna, there is another report that is about World Happiness Report supported by United Nations.
Sir.
Are you aware of that report?
Yes, sir.
What is the rank of India in that happiness report?
Sir, India ranks 126. Its position remains unchanged.
Out of, I think, 123 or 144 countries. So, why we are so unhappy?
Sir, the parameters that the report includes are contested also by the Indian administration. There are certain parameters like social security and happiness in terms of trust with the government, apart from other parameters. Sir, I do not say that we are a perfect society in terms of happiness, but I definitely believe that we are much happier than what has been cited in the report, sir.
My last question is about your Madhubani paintings. What do you understand by what is there in Madhubani painting? What it depicts?
Sir, Madhubani painting has 5 different subforms and all subforms have a unique depiction. So like the Bharni which I am donning right now, it is depicting of symbolism and motives by say sir fishes or lotus or several flowers. So it is depicting nature. So second is Kachni, which uses lines and horizontal and vertical lines which depicts nature as well as religious themes. So third is Tantric, which is specifically focused on religious themes. Then is Kohbar, which talks about fertility and is also got its remnants in Ramayana. And the last is Godna, which shows caste and different hierarchies in the Mithila region as well, sir.
Very good. Thank you, Annapurna.
Thank you, sir.
Morning, Annapurna.
Good morning, sir.
How are you?
I'm doing fine, sir. Thank you.
Annapurna, did you read today's newspaper?
Sir, I had a glance over it, sir.
What were the headlines which caught your attention?
So there was one headline about the one was IQware was there, so then fact check unit was also mentioned there. Additionally, sir, the Election Commission has asked the states to remove any advertisement as such. And sir, again, the happiness report found a mention in
All
the
right.
editorial.
Okay, I'll take you to another item which was flashed on Times of India, which talks about a petition being filed in the Supreme Court with respect to a bail in the PMLA case.
Okay, sir.
And where the courts have come out that the bail ought to be given in a cases where there is a delay in trial.
All right.
Now the question follows from there that with the new CRPC coming in, though they have not been notified as yet, do you think that this particular issue in delay in trial has been addressed in the new Act, CRPC Act?
Sir, delay in trial also incorporates from justice being denied a lot of times and prison as not as a norm. Sir, in the CRPC, sir, I am not sure, sir, but there is one inclusion in the BNS where community service is being provided. So there is no direct conviction, but for
that's
petty
with respect
crimes.
to the punishment or
Yes,
but
sir.
I'm asking the process of law, the trial which takes place. Is there anything which has come out in this new Act?
My apologies.
All
sir,
right,
I'll
no problem.
read
No
on it.
problem. Now, there is another item which is really flashing and which is a matter of real concern for all of us. That a report has come in papers that there is a decline in the TFR rates.
So,
And if you try to have a correlation with the replacement rate
So.
by 2050, there would be a big deficit.
yes, sir.
Now, do you understand what exactly are we talking about here?
Yes, sir. So the TFR rates, the ideal rate is 2 and 2.1 in the border of that, sir, because it shows that a person would be replaced and the population would remain stagnant in that aspect. So the declining trend shows that India's population and the working age population particularly, the demographic dividend that is our strength, would reduce and the old age population would increase.
Why do you think that's happening? The TFR rate falling?
Sir, while the trend is not homogeneous across India, because there are states like Bihar and other northern states which are showing a higher TFR, but the reduction in the TFR can be owed to the population measures that we have taken, rising education and literacy rates, And women empowerment and rising bodily autonomy can also be attributed for reduction in TFR, sir.
All right. You come from Bihar. There was a caste census which was carried out and has been published now.
Sir.
It's a documented report.
Sir.
Now, is it a caste census or was it a caste survey?
Sir, it is a caste survey, sir. The census can only be
Yeah,
conducted.
it was a survey. Now, there are a lot of debates and a lot of discussion taking place on this caste survey,
Yes.
because this tends to divide the society rather than doing good.
Sir.
I want to have your fair opinion on this subject.
So, my opinion goes that data-led governance is always beneficial because what cannot be measured cannot be managed. And in that respect, sir, the caste census can be very useful. As far as the fault lines that it could create and the possibilities of that, sir, we cannot let that hamper any possibilities of better governance and ensuring better facilities to the last mile and vulnerable. So I believe, sir, that it could be better utilized, and I am more positive towards the usage of the caste census rather than it creating increased fault lines.
Why isn't the government then acting upon? They are absolutely the present ruling government.
So,
It's against this particular caste census. They don't tend to go forward on this subject.
yes, sir. So the present ruling dispensation cites that a caste census at a national level could be very detrimental. First, sir, at a national level, defining caste is context specific, and that would create a lot of several other issues in terms of administration, logistics as well. So secondly, sir, the training and reliability of data is also contested upon, and that is one of the other reasons why the central dispensation is not in favor of it.
Now, there was another report which has come on terms of the governance index.
Sure.
And Bihar doesn't tend to fall on those higher brackets. Why do you think that the governance index, the Bihar election,
Sir, I can cite one of first reason being the legacy issue, sir. The state has not fared very well in the governance aspect from the past. However, sir, we are doing much better, and it is visible in a 10.7% growth rate that the state is having. So the second reason is a trust deficit again. The people and the government have this large blanket which good governance is not being able to fill. So third, it is seen that e-governance and digital governance initiatives are found to be very beneficial in other regions where governance is cited to be very good, while that is not penetrated in Bihar owing to poor teledensity and digital inclusion. So that is another problem.
Okay, final question to you, Annapurna. Name two personalities who have actually shaped your life.
So do I have to mention anybody from the public sphere only, sir?
Or let me more refine my question from Bihar.
Okay. Sir, the first personality I would say is Chanakya, sir, from the historical aspect. And the second personality I would say, sir, Bindeshwari Pathak ji of the Sulabh International, who has promoted sanitation. So that I have read about his work, sir, and I find him very impressionable, sir. The reasons for the same being, so first is Chanakya and his aspects in foreign policy as well as his objectivity in governance. I find them very amusing, sir. And the second, sir, Bindeshwari Pathak ji. Sir, if I get into the civil services, I aim to work for the adolescent girls and the women, and the sanitation in that aspect is very much crucial. So I believe, sir, these two personalities have a very important.
Thank you, Annapurna.
Thank you, sir.
So, Annapurna, anything from your DAF which we may not have covered? If yes, you can let me know. I can ask one last question.
Sir, anything related to ISRO, sir, I had been a
ISRO.
part of it.
So, what was your what did you do as a coordinator?
Sir, my responsibilities were on two major verticals. It was about the student outreach of the programs that ISRO provided. One was in the different universities across Bangalore, and the second one was the Atal Tinkering Labs Associated Government Schools of Bangalore. And sir, in that respect, I also try to promote, as it is cited by ISRO, a culture of education in those schools. So, sir, these were the major
What makes you think that India has become a global power in space area?
So, I'm very optimistic of our future potential and our future progress too. But what is the reason behind why we are faring well? So first is the leadership and the innovation that ISRO has provided to the space and space-based economy is one. So the second is that the entire nation and its collective support to ISRO. So we saw that the Chandrayaan...
I'm not referring to ISRO alone.
Sir.
I'm referring to India as a global space power.
Sir, while India's attachment in the global economy is just of 2% right now, so we do have a lot of larger way to go. But in terms of space power, sir, we have increased our visibilities by the programs like the mission, Mangalyaan mission, which was very frugal. It
What
was
else?
at 74 million.
What else?
Sir, second is our partnership with a lot of countries like JAXA, like CNES and NASA. So third is the cost competitiveness that we provide in terms of other countries. So these are the major.
Thank you, Annapurna. We are
Thank you,
over
sir.
with the interview.
Okay.
You will wait for some time in the waiting room. We'll call you again.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes,
Come in, sir.
Annapurna, please come. So, Annapurna, how was your mock interview today?
Sir, I felt it went
You
well.
felt it well? All right. Anything, Annapurna, you thought maybe for the main interview, some lessons you have learned, or maybe?
Yes, sir. Sir, I was not able to answer a few questions to the best of my capabilities, sir. I thought that I prepared them, but
For instance, just for setting the ball rolling
yes, sir.
for discussion, yeah.
So the last question, sir, the space economy. So you were asking about space,
you
and I was
went astray. You,
Yes,
I
sir.
think maybe you may have heard ISRO wrongly,
yes, sir.
but it seems that you were fixated on ISRO.
Yes, sir.
So you thought that ISRO, but it wouldn't have been a deliberate attempt to
No, sir.
go to ISRO and not
No,
to the
sir.
space.
Yes, sir. I did not.
So this brings a lesson that one should not be in a hurry to respond or to react, and in case there is any doubt. But anyway, you started off well. I prompted you in between. उसके बाद भी अन्नपूर्णा आपका जो जवाब आया ना वो बहुत solid नहीं था.
Okay, sir.
Since you have mentioned ISRO,
Sir.
so you should not restrict yourself only to ISRO activities. ISRO may be spearheading the space
Sir.
program,
Sir.
but it is not Indian space,
Yes.
as a whole.
Hmm.
You did not refer to our moon landing, which is so unique. It
Yes,
put
sir.
us
So
on the
the
global
space.
scene.
Yes, sir. After the
The
Mangalyaan.
only country to have done it.
Yes, sir.
And don't mention about percentage and of total.
Okay, sir.
We have started earning money from space.
Yes, sir.
Space
The
economy.
private sector is also coming.
We are launching satellites of other countries.
Yes, sir.
Is it not global?
Yes, sir.
So, touch upon these.
Yes, sir. I'll improve that answer.
So, you need to be a little deeper, Annapurna.
So,
You are good.
Sir.
You are very, very, very bright personality, very pleasing. Can see you as a ideal civil servant, But for that, those 30 minutes, you have to prepare a little deeper.
okay, sir.
All the subjects.
Okay, sir.
I'll just give you a few references about the prohibition thing.
So,
You again went to a direction different from the question.
okay, sir.
You were mentioning about the implementation of prohibition. What is investment to do with implementation? Idea based, you should have focused that the industries who come to Bihar, they don't want prohibition.
So,
गिफ्ट सिटी आई गिव यू एन एग्जांपल
Yes.
लोग इन्वेस्टर्स बाहर के आते हो कहते हैं भाई हमें तो पीने को ही नहीं मिलेगा
so,
लोग गुजरात से राजस्थान भागते हैं पीने के लिए
right, sir.
सो भले ही गुजरात में इन्वेस्टमेंट आ रहा हो वो अलग बात है ट्रेडिशनल बट यू शुड फोकस मोर ऑन दैट
Okay, sir.
कि सर यस एंड डोंट बी वन साइडेड डोंट बी प्रोटेक्टिव
Okay, sir.
आइदर टू योर स्टेट और टू अ कॉन्सेप्ट
So,
आपका एकदम से स्टैंड वन साइडेड सा जैसे हो गया कि सर नो इट विल नॉट अफेक्ट एनीथिंग
okay, sir.
योर फर्स्ट रिएक्शन वाज दैट इज इट नॉट
Okay, sir.
डोंट बी फास्ट इन रिएक्टिंग टू एनी सिचुएशनल क्वेश्चन
Okay, sir.
स्पेशली व्हेन पैनल कुछ ना कुछ कोई पर्पस से पूछ रहा है
Right, sir.
एंड इट्स नॉट अ ट्रैप
Right, sir.
तो आपको सोचना चाहिए कि had I been in your place I would have said yes sir it would make some effect however we can adopt some model like gift city that Gujarat has done. No, you later on agreed to gift city thing
Yes, sir.
कि मैं कर दूंगी उसको
Yes, sir.
पर शुरू में आपने कहा नहीं फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा
I'll take care of that.
You were controversial, no, in your own way, and that's all. But basically, the idea is that you have to be to the point, to the question which is asked. So patiently hear the question. You can even give a pause and Puna for 2, 3, 4 seconds to understand. If you haven't understood, then you can even take the liberty of asking the panel, "Ki, sir, are you trying to ask you about ISRO or global space power?" No, I am asking about global space power. So, yes, sir. Then you start. Whatever you know. If you don't know to any point, you can always say, "Sorry, sir, I am not aware." So, these are some of the observations, Annapurna. Otherwise, you have everything, very strong foundation. Just that you need depth. You can cover all the questions. You knew almost everything. The only thing is that you should go to the level of understanding. एक supplementary आते ही आप derail नहीं होनी चाहिए.
ठीक है.
Initially तो you would answer very well, but जैसे ही कोई उस पर से एक पलट के कोई सवाल additional आ गया या view related आ गया, you should be prepared for that.
I will.
All right.
Yes.
So, right, sir.
Annapurna, you are a very bright candidate. So keep on reading your newspapers till your interview, 4 or 5 newspapers. So you are doing very well.
Thank you, sir.
All the best.
Thank you.
All the very best. In fact, I was pleased with your personality and your presentation.
Sir.
But as what the chairman has said, work on it and just give a pause and understand the question.
Yes.
And then react. That's important. Yes. That's where you missed out some of the answers which the chairman was expecting.
Yes, sir.
So that's a key thing. Otherwise, you have full knowledge. Only thing was the presentation part of it. All the very best.
Thank you, sir.
You have a great potential.
Thank you, sir.
So Annapurna, good personality, good communication. आपने मेजॉरिटी ऑफ एरियाज कवर किए हैं. एक दो उसमें इनोवेटिव पॉइंट्स या इन डेप्थ अगर होते तो और अच्छे हो जाते आंसर्स एंड यू कैड हैव स्कोर 70% आल्सो. थोड़ा सा एलिमेंट ऑफ जेनरिक आ रहा था कुछ क्वेश्चंस में जो आपके पॉइंट्स आ रहे थे. थोड़ा सा और उसमें इन डेप्थ ऐड कर लीजिए. सेकेंडली जैसा आपको अभी एडवाइस किया गया है, थोड़ा सा पॉज लेके बोलिए. मैं आपको एग्जांपल बताता हूँ. द क्वेश्चन वाज व्हाट प्रॉम्प्टेड यू टुवर्ड्स सिविल सर्विसेज and your answer was my values will contribute better. So the question was what prompted you. So the element of public service at a wider platform in civil services and diversity is prompting me towards civil services. So talk about the virtues of civil services. आप उसमें अपना लेके आ गए. Generally जो भी कॉर्पोरेट में काम करते हैं दे टेंड टू प्रूव कि व्हाई दे आर गुड फॉर सिविल सर्विसेज. सो ये आप मत कीजिएगा एंड सिविल सर्विसेज के वर्च्यूज बोलेंगे तो ज्यादा अच्छा रहेगा. ठीक है. अदरवाइज यू हैव डन वेरी वेल एंड यू हैव अ पोटेंशियल टू स्कोर वेरी हाई. सो विश यू ऑल द बेस्ट.
थैंक यू.
Annapurna, any questions?
No, sir.
So you are doing very well, Annapurna, and you will certainly do very well after having if you implement some of the observations. So we have given you 66% today.
Okay.
So can I know how much you got in the first round?
Yes, sir. So I got 176 in Smita ma'am's.
176. Smita Nagraj. 64. Annapurna, you are a 70 plus candidate. We are not happy.
Sir.
Are you?
No, sir.
2% raise is also not a big raise.
Sir.
You deserve much more.
Sir.
Just bring some depth. When is your interview?
So it's on 4th of April.
You have time. इस पे अनुपूर्णा आंसर्स बना लो, आप बनाए और करंट अफेयर्स को थोड़ा डीपली पढ़ो.
Okay, sir.
You are reading, but you mentioned also glance.
Yes, sir. Today's.
You admitted. Why did you admit? आपका अंदर का ट्रुथ निकल के आया.
Okay, sir.
You should say, yes, sir, I have read it. I had a glance. I glanced it. Glance मतलब चलते फिरते मैंने देख लिया. Now that itself doesn't reflect a good preparation.
Okay, sir.
आप समझ रहे हो?
Yes.
मतलब आपने अपने आप को प्रोटेक्ट कर लिया. ग्लांस से मतलब ये कि बहुत ज़्यादा डीप मेरे से एक्सपेक्ट मत करना. बट वाई क्यों नहीं करना एक्सपेक्ट? Are you getting my point?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So don't use these words. Say it confidently. If you are not able to answer anything, sir, I am sorry, I haven't read this.
Okay.
और अगर वाकई में आप ग्लांस करके आती हो तो ग्लांस नहीं करना, उसको
पूरा
स्टडी करना है.
Yes, sir.
All right, to the extent of understanding.
Okay. Sir, one question.
हाँ,
is that,
बोलो.
sir, for the current affairs question, sir, what about, sir, what depth is in, sir, could you help me figure out, I mean, which questions maybe, or if my answers were not concise or...
So, you see, current affairs, there can be two levels of
So,
importance. First is a current affair somewhere related to your DAF,
so,
right? I asked you about Prime Minister's semiconductor mission
Yes.
because you have done semiconductor.
yes, sir.
I could have picked up some other current affair also,
Yes, sir.
right? Had you been a political science graduate, I would have asked you about election commission,
Right.
CGI thing, something. So current affair related directly to your DAF is the most important thing that can be
Right,
asked.
sir. Yes, sir.
Number one. And number two, any current affair dealing with anything. You were asked about fertility rate,
Yes, sir.
you know, you could be asked anything. You were asked about PMLA. No, it has nothing to do with your DAF.
Yes.
But even then it has flashed. And anything which is of national importance, which has implications,
So,
which has social implications, which has economic implications, not political, but international implications, or maybe national implications, they are also very important.
okay, sir.
This is how you should prepare. And keep an eye on international relations
I'll
also,
do that, sir.
because one or two questions would definitely be asked. चाइना पे थोड़ी सी महारत हासिल कर लीजिएगा,
I'm trying, sir. I'm
क्योंकि
doing
चाइना सबके मुंह पे रहता है आजकल, ठीक है ना? So anything else?
it. No, sir.
All the best to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.